Welcome, everybody. This is What's Up for You. And so we're going to start today with a little bit of a energy session right into the heart. It's always a nice way to kind of start and get recentered. And I know I could use it today. So hopefully it'll be beneficial for you guys as well. So let's just go ahead and close our eyes for a moment. And let's just start breathing right into the center of the heart. And as we breathe into the center of the heart, today we might want to exhale that energy down through our bodies almost as a little bit of a grounding exercise. So we'll breathe into the heart space first and exhale it out down through those lower chakras, down through that lower part of the body. And really allow it to move all the way down into the earth. Go. And let's breathe in again, right into the heart space. And exhaling it all the way down. Really, don't be afraid to make that connection with the planet. You're not connecting to it in its chaos or in its own transformation. You're connecting to it in its clarity and its purity. And you get to decide exactly where you connect with the planet. So don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, so to speak. Just connect where you want to connect. There we go. And so let's inhale again and exhale right down into that place that feels the most comfortable and the most inviting to you. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's still a little bit of wobble in the field, and rightly so. There's a lot of energy building. It's pretty staggering right now. So what I'd like you to imagine is, I'd like you to imagine that there is a line of energy that runs from above your head, let's say soul star, about 8 to 10 inches above your head, runs directly through the body and out into your earth star, let's say, maybe 8 to 10 inches into the ground, into the earth. And I just want you to see that line absolutely straight. If it's got a bend in it, if it's got a wobble in it, if it's pitched forward or backward, just command it to straighten. There we go. Yeah. Getting all of your multidimensionality, let's say, lined up and in communication with each other. And then let's go from, we're going to draw a line from, if our arms were outstretched, right, to the left and to the right, we're going to draw a line from the palm of our left hand right down our arm through the heart and out the other arm and into that palm. And again, just take a look at that line or imagine that line or feel into it. And we're going to command it to straight. Right? We're just commanding the left and the right sides of us, the right and the wrong, the good and the bad, the masculine and feminine. We're just commanding those into coherence. There we go. And one last place here. Let's go imagine that there's a line out in front of us that's coming right through the heart and out the back. This line represents our kind of linear trajectory that's not so linear anymore. So past, present, future. And again, take a look at that line. Make sure it's horizontal to the ground. Make sure that there's no kinks in it or bends or waves. We're simply going to command it to straight. There we go. There we go. Now more centered. Okay, so let's take one more inhale right into the center of the heart. This time we're going to exhale out 360 degrees. We'll exhale right out all of those lines of energy and create a little bit of a bubble around us or a sphere around us. There we go. There we go. It's kind of like a sphere that's tethered to the most coherent, most beautiful aspects of being on this planet. Yep. There we go. And just a good reference point to go back to today as we're having our conversation. So cool. And that did the trick, Sharon. So I'm back. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So where can we start?
Well, yes, everybody, please, if you have questions, please put them in the chat and I will read them. The first question is from just a user, and it says, "What's up for me? Exploring what can a romantic relationship look like?"
Oh, nice. Thanks. This will be a fun one. I think that this is so interesting, and what about romantic relationship, and what I'd like to address first is the energy of our own masculine and feminine energy, because what I'm noticing right now is that so many people are starting to find balance between that masculine and feminine energy. And when they do, about the time that they find that within themselves, those partners that are kind of the right match, or if we're in a partnership already, the taking of that partnership to another level is really available. But this, what that can look like, quite honestly, is whatever anybody wants it to look like. It can look like, and will look like, quite honestly, exactly what the energy of the masculine and feminine is doing within you, right? So the outer landscape, the guy, the relationship, the job, the whatever, that's always a manifestation of what's going on internally. So my first question is always, how are the masculine and feminine energies within you working? Is the masculine side of you kind and loving and appreciative and supportive to the more intuitive sides of you? When you have an intuition, or you have that more intuitive energy, are the masculine sides of you more supportive in kind of in moving that energy forward, right? So notice what that dance is inside of you, and you'll know exactly what partnership, romantic or otherwise, could look like externally. The other thing I will say is that thing that we just did with those equal crossbars, to run that energy from outstretched arm to outstretched arm is a really great one, so that you don't have to try to figure out how to mentally balance your masculine and feminine. Just run that energy back and forth, and you're running it right through the heart, right? You're running it right through the place where that information of balance is going to be broadcast out to those around you. So anyway, so yeah, it can look however you want it to look, provided it's going on inside. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, this is more of a personal question, so we can tweak it to more general if we needed. Let's see. I am not sure. My white blood cell count is below normal and has been for several months. I had surgery and radiation for cancer last year. Radiation ended last November. I hope to receive some insight in this.
Okay, so let me just do a quick check-in here and see what's going on. So the thing that I want to say here is, it's about this white blood cell count being low. And every time, like if I just go to the white blood cells and I'm asking, what's going on? Why are you low? what all I'm hearing is like there's this buildup of energy happening. It's almost like it's like it- it's like when we need a little bit of fire underneath us to move into the next place or space. So whatever the energetic template was that just kind of gave you the opportunities that you no doubt had to come deeper and deeper into yourself during that whole experience. It's almost like it's interesting. It's like the white blood cell count, it was drawing back. It'll pop back up. It's coming up to another level is what I'm hearing. But it's almost like these white blood cells are drawing energy. It's like pulling back the energy of a slingshot before you're going to let it go and kind of reorganize something. And to me, I don't know who specifically I'm speaking to here, but what I do want to say is let's pay attention to the energetic pull that's happening through this white blood cell count. I would ask the white blood cells themselves, to what are they doing? What's going on? I would feel that pull back, and it's the best I can say. It's in preparation mode. It's in preparation mode for some movement forward, and all of this other energy kind of had to be transmuted through that experience prior to that um, movement forward is the best way I can say it. But when I talk to the white blood cells, they say pulling back, pulling back, pulling back, but not in the negative sense. Pulling back in order to, yeah, I mean, my daughter had cancer for a year and chemotherapy and all that other kind of stuff. And I just remember these moments of where the energy would feel like it was just, oh, it's like can't go any further kind of thing. And then all of a sudden something would open up. And it was, I have a feeling it's a similar thing. So be with those white blood cells, have a conversation with those white blood cells, let the white blood cells know that you're appreciative of the fact that they are diminishing right now because you trust, that they're building something else up or they're doing that for a reason. So we'll let that be an okay thing instead of a negative thing. Yeah. Hope that's helpful.
All right. Next question from Arlene. It says, retired and wondering what's next. I feel like I'm stuck in not knowing where I should be going and what's important for me.
Yes, you and the rest of the planet, including myself and probably everybody on this call for sure. Yeah, and I think especially right now when we're all somewhat more isolated and things like that, we can think or feel like, oh my gosh, I'm the only one that's not moving forward, or I'm the only one that's, hasn't got a handle on what's next. I think that this is it's a really interesting time because the fact is that we haven't collectively really decided what's next. At least I know that people talk about all kinds of timelines and all kinds of different things that are what might play out, might not play out, all this kind of thing. But we really need to remember that we're the ones creating what's next. We're not at the mercy of some other force, right? What we are kind of at the, maybe not mercy of, but kind of are in this waiting pattern for is we're not just one individual. One individual can create in their own worlds. And I highly suggest that we do, that we consider what it is we'd like, what it is we want to, how we want our worlds to be. So we've got that energy, but then we've also got the collective energy of people right now deciding, and everybody's deciding right now, what we had no longer works. That's broken. We can't do that anymore. So now collectively, everybody is choosing what they want next. I think we're in a pattern energetically, however, where although a lot of people know that they want something next, collectively they don't quite know what that is. They haven't quite settled into, I want this to be love. They haven't quite settled into, you know, this planet is so beautiful and so amazing. And it could be this or it could be that. I think that the vast majority of human beings right now are still in a little bit of cognitive dissonance as to what they're recognizing around what no longer serves them anymore. And so what I will say is if we start just, instead of saying I don't know what's next, which I have to remind myself of this all the time because I have that feeling frequently. But every single time we have that feeling, instead of saying I don't know what's next, let's use that same energy to kind of like really feel into what we would like to have next. And sometimes we don't know the details of that, but we do know that we want it to feel safe, and we know that we want it to feel like home, and that we want people to love each other, that we want to um, be able to interact and be in joy, and we know those kinds of things. Yeah. So I would put our attention there every single time that question pops up, because in that way you're creating it in the moment, you're aligning with it. And I guarantee when you align with it, all those people that are aligned with that energy with you, they'll start making up your world. Yep. They'll start showing up in your world, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, there might be a whole lot of stuff going on out there, but you're kind of oblivious to it in many ways, because you're starting to magnetize you magnetize to you those that are kind of creating in the same world that you are. And as we build that, that's how we create a new world. It's very, very personal. We can each do our part in that way. So yeah, I hope that's helpful.
Okay, next question from Jane. I quit my job in May because I wasn't working in integrity. I've got several books in the works and also started a personal coaching business. I'm also a special ed aide in the morning because some kids need in person to learn. Everyone else is virtual. I have many irons in the fire and feel okay. However, it feels like I'm supposed to be focused on writing books. Have a hard time getting chapters written. Is there a block or focus or getting my book done?
Again, I'm not much on blocks. Like a lot of times, like again, if we're big beings and we're creating our reality, to say that something is blocked is almost like to say that something is more powerful than our totality. And so from my perspective anyway, I would say that within your inner community, let's say within our totality, there are all kinds of aspects of us. There are the aspects that want to move forward. There are the aspects that are scared to move forward. There's all of this energy within the totality of our being. So when there's a block of some sort or a perceived block of some sort, my first question is, who within my community is feeling this feeling, right? It's not you as a totality. And sometimes when we say things like, I'm blocked, it's really not true, because the I am never blocked. The I am is always in constant flow and in constant movement and in constant co-creation with all of these aspects of yourself. So first off, when you say I am blocked, I would just suggest that the first question is, what aspect of me is having this feeling, right? Maybe identify what the feeling is, right? It feels like this. These are the energies and the emotions. It's this, what aspect of me is having this experience? And then just simply ask that aspect what it needs, what it wants. And or there are other aspects of you that are more than capable of supporting that aspect that is not um, kind of wanting to move forward, right? So, I mean, in my own experience, I have this, Sharon can tell you, I have this, after years of working together, this perpetual cycle where if I'm getting ready to step out again, or if I'm ready to share again and be more out in the world, what I notice is I have physical symptomology that goes on over and over again. So I can and have for years thought that physical symptomology was quote unquote bad or negative or wrong. But how could it be, right? How could it be bad or wrong? It's has something that it wants to say. It has something that it wants to share. And so as I spend more time with it, okay, it's like headaches always come up or this always comes up. It's the repeated pattern. The block comes up. Okay, let me feel into that. Let me feel what that feels like. Let me ask what it wants. And a lot of times, if I ask what it wants, sometimes it just wants to be still. Sometimes it doesn't want to talk. Sometimes it wants to crawl in the covers and, bury up a little bit. So, and again, let's have conversations with these aspects within ourselves. Yeah. And it's interesting as I'm saying this to you, that very energy that is perceived as a block, all I heard it say is, she's listening. She's listening, because a lot of times the parts of us that slow us down the most are one, very powerful parts, aspects of us, and two, those aspects kind of say, yeah, you're not going anywhere without me. It's like I'm the juice, I'm the power, I'm the, I can add to what you're getting ready to do next. And so I need you to pay attention to me before we go any further. It's just like a little kid, pulling on your pant leg, mom, 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 I need you, I need you, I need you. And the more you push that away, the more you say, oh yeah, no, that's wrong. Don't block me. Don't stop me. Don't, the more you push it away, the more that kid is screaming and till you actually meet the need that they have. So it's very similar for whatever this aspect of you is. And she's in many ways, she's raring to go, but she wants some acknowledgement from the larger community. She wants some acknowledgement that you're capable and you're creative and you're um, yeah, fluid in the information that you're receiving. Yeah, I get the sense she's a little one from maybe a childhood that may have had similar things where she probably wanted the same things back when you were a child. She wanted just acknowledge me for for who I am and my creativity and my capacity to get this information through me and out onto the page or out into the world in some way. So she's the one that's needing your attention right now. Yeah. All right.
Okay, this question's from Liz, and it says, my first grandchild will arrive next May. What can I do now to connect and support this being?
Yeah, you can start right now. So again, and it's such a good thing to start this connection now before this new one, is embodied, before he has a body to go with it. To go with the essence of his being. So literally, it's just heart to heart. It's just intending I mean, we really do forget how powerful we are. We also forget that we're energy first. And these physical bodies, although they're nice to, get us around and give us the experiences that we are seeking, that's secondary, right? So just making that heart to heart connection. The other thing that I would say is dedicate just a couple minutes of maybe your meditation time, or right before you fall asleep, right when you wake up, just connecting with him. Just, I know that you're, you know, I know that you're there. I know that you're already present. I know that you're already witnessing and kind of planning for this life experience, and I'm so excited to welcome you and to have you part of our family. I'm so excited to have you show up, in this way. So, and it will, I promise, just you'll feel, I can just, even as I'm kind of, a little fly on the wall as I'm watching you guys connect right now, it just feels so beautiful. And you would not even have this inkling, you would not even have this question come up unless there was some kind of bond between the two of you already. So you might as well make it, you might as well just join in. And yeah, you guys got a lot to do together. That's all I gotta say. So you might as well start the process now, right? So yeah, just as a side note, when my grandson, he's 7 now, but when my grandson was in utero, I kept checking on him. It's like, okay, are you coming now? Are you coming now? I was like this anxious grandma, about to be a new grandparent. And I just remember at one point, he came to me in a dream, actually, and he said, I'm going to be born on a 9-day, and I am going to call you Nama, because I won't be able to say grandma. And I was like, okay. And I was like really excited. And I was like, okay, we're already starting this connection. And so so my daughter was thinking that, it's coming, it's coming. And so it was like the 27th or something like that. And I'm thinking, okay, that's going to be the day, because that's a 9-day, right? He didn't come. And so he comes later on October, what was it, October 20th. And so it comes later, and I'm in the hospital. I'm thinking, this is not a 9-day. What the heck? It's like we were trying to build some kind of bond together, some kind of trust, and, in this conversation that we were having beforehand. And so I took a walk from my daughter's room and walking down the hall, and I hear this little laugh in my head. And he said, add up all the numbers. I was only adding up the day. So when I did the month, the day, and the year, it was a 9-day. And I went, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And so, and so later, he's probably, I don't know, 2. And he's saying my name, and he's going, Nema, Nema. And the whole thing came flooding back. And I looked right at him and I go, oh yeah, I remember this part. I go, you're not going to be able to say my name for quite some time. So, but yeah, all I'm saying is these kind of connections can just be really amazing from the very beginning. So, yeah.
All right. Arlene said, thank you. That was so helpful. Jane says, that was beautiful and spot on. Thank you, Suzy. And the other Jane said, so helpful, reminding me I always have the answers.
Yeah.
Powerful. So the next question is, I'm going to combine them, but okay. It says, Dito, and hopefully I pronounced your name right, and Anya want you to look at their energy, and does anything jump forward to mention? Thank you.
Let me see how I want to address this. Hold on just a second. So I want to address the question from a little different vantage point. Okay. So So when we ask, what is it that's jumping forward, right? We're assuming maybe that somebody has a deeper connection to us than we have to ourselves, right? And so, and I really want to shift this. I mean, especially right now. I appreciate the question and I appreciate the desire for some insight that might be able to come beyond what any of us might have been able to have on a daily basis, that kind of stuff. But for whatever reason, the response here is really about shifting this energy back into ourselves, right? So, and I'm saying it this way because not so much I can't get a read on it or that kind of thing. It's not that. It's that there's this amazing opportunity for deep, deep empowerment right now. Well, we begin to realize that the only awareness that really matters is the awareness that we have of ourselves, right? And so it's not that we can't seek out other information and that kind of thing and get other pieces of the puzzle as a reflection back. But what I'd like to do, and we'll do this in a second, when the question comes from, does anything stick out for me? Is anything that I need to know that I don't know myself? Sometimes that energy can come from a place of, I don't know myself. I don't know what's there to know. I'm a little nervous about maybe I don't know what there is there to know. So that was the general energy between those two questioners. So that's one piece. On the other side of it is when we ask a question of somebody else, such as, could you reflect my energy back to me? Could you reflect a part of me that it's almost like you're saying, can you reflect a part of me that's already there? Yep, that I'm not aware of, versus can you tell me something that I don't know about myself? Yeah, these are refinements here, but I really want people to understand that every single person on this planet is simply a reflection of you, right? Every single person, we've called them to our experience so they can reflect whatever parts of us that they're reflecting. And so if we know that, then we're like, oh, beautiful, you're here to reflect this. You're here to reflect that. And if you consciously choose to ask for that reflection, and especially if it's from somebody that you perceive can maybe see something, all you're saying is there's a part of me that's broader and bigger and more aware than some other parts of me, and I want that reflection. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so what I'll say to both of you is is if there's something that's sticking out in your energy, it's the call of this part of yourself. The call of this part of yourself that wants to have that reflection come back. That is the reflection that lets you know what and who you actually are. Yeah, that's the reflection you really want. You don't want to mess with all the other, this, that. Yeah, the reflection you really want is, what am I? Who am I? And so let's even just set that intention right here, right now. And we can all do that. That more important than anything else, I came here to know what I am, who I am. And I'll choose that reflection from those around us, from those around me, right? Show me that. Show me what that's like. Show me what that feels like. Yeah, there we go. That's set, actually. That just went boom, just set right into place. Yeah. So you'll have all kinds of people over this next week or so reflecting back to you or pulling from you a bigger part of you, because that's your intention, right? Yeah, cool. All right, I hope that's helpful.
Okay, next question from Rose. I grew up with a highly functioning autistic mother and sister and his histrionic father, all undiagnosed.
Mhm.
How do you think that would have affected me as a highly sensitive child? I find that most of my friends as an adult now are highly functioning, awesome, or mentally distressed and or alcoholic. Do you have any advice?
Um, so again, if we look at this strictly from energetic fields, when you say that you grew up with a high functioning, around high functioning autism, what that says to me is you grow up in a field of energy that is um, different, more refined than, and maybe not fully grounded either, in that refinement. So you grow up in that kind of energy and that kind of soup. You're swimming in that kind of soup all the time. And so the the energetics of the people in your household, whether they were capable of negotiating that fully or not, it's very challenging to negotiate that. So I would suspect that that you also saw a lot of challenge. You didn't just see high functioning, uh, a high functioning frequency band. You saw a high functioning frequency band mixed with, I'm trying to get that functioning frequency band here, and working that on a daily basis, or being that expression on a daily basis in this reality. Very challenging. So on the one hand, you have this high frequency band that you've been swimming in since you got here, that soup, and you also probably have the the negotiation of that high frequency band with your physical experience. This is why a lot of people do, you know, um, they do anesthetize themselves in one way, and or they do have deep emotional uh, yeah, challenges, I'm gonna say. It's like it's a hard dance between those two realities. So so I would pay almost 100% attention to the physical reality, right? I pay 100% attention to being here. I mean, literally physically, I'm on the ground, I'm in my body. I'm noticing my feet, I'm noticing my legs, I'm noticing my knees, I'm noticing, I can feel and you're going to draw your energy out of the head and down into these lower parts of the body, because this whole area, is everything above the heart is filled up with very refined energy, and it can work its way down into the lower part of your body, and therefore you can feel more stable, and or you can create stability for those others around you who are having that same kind of experience. But all I'm seeing is it's almost like the energy's top heavy because of the soup that you swam in for so long, the energetic soup. So you got a big heart, you've got all this energy is really full, full, full. And as that energy starts moving its way down into the lower part of the body, it's going to kick out some of those trauma places, or some of those places where maybe it didn't feel all that safe as a little person to be, in that energy. So let's just move that energy right down in through those lower chakras. And again, connect to the planet in the place that you choose to connect to her. Yep. Where it feels like home, where it feels comfortable. It's like you're bringing heaven to earth, so to speak, as above, so below. And as you move that energy down through those lower chakras, it is true that stuff moves. Yep, stuff comes out. Don't let that stop you. Just keep moving your energy down into those lower spaces, and it'll start to feel, back to the question that we just had, you'll start to really understand who you are and why you chose that experience in the first place, what the benefits of that experience were going to be for you. So keep going, keep going. Yeah, it's like,
All right. Arlene said she just loves hearing about those fun stories of connection with your grandson. And Anya and Dita both said, Anya said spot on and very well well received. And Dita said, thank you, Suzy. That was very helpful.
okay.
And Liz says, does vertigo relate to this mental soup?
Oh, yeah. Well, let me tell you, I'm a vertigo experiencer too, every now and again. It's my least favorite thing on the planet. I gotta say, vertigo, I don't know that there's much worse, to me anyway, than vertigo. So here's the vertigo dance. Again, let's go back energetically, and it's absolutely part of what you're experiencing, and it's absolutely, you just confirmed to me this high frequency energy trying to integrate into the lower frequencies. So let's say, let's say you've got this chakra line, energy body line, and so in you, you're open from the heart up, right? So right, you got this big volume of information that's coming in, through these higher vibrational frequencies, and it's coming into the heart, right? It's great that it comes into the heart, but again, it's like a top. It's like the whole top of the body is spinning, swirling, moving, and it has no place. Doesn't have a big enough foundation, let's say, or a broad enough foundation energetically in those lower chakras to hold that energy like a funnel of energy. Right now it's like like a V with a, no, it's like a Y, right? So it's all that energy is trying to funnel in. And what you'll notice is, this is why these lower chakras, we used to talk about this within awesomeism a long time ago, and here it comes again as another cycle. It's so important to keep that lower part of your body as open and as clear as possible, because then all the vastness of you is already vast. You don't have to figure out the vastness of you. We just need a landing pad for that vastness. And it's when it's yeah when the lower chakras are not open to the same extent, or not in vibrational harmony coherence with those upper chakras, it's it's like we're trying to do everything from the top, from the heart up, and there's a lot of vertigo to that. There's a lot of spinning energy to that. The other thing that's making that a little bit more uh, tenuous, I'll say right now, is you've got not just you in that high frequency band, but you've got tons of people right now opening to a higher frequency band that they're not used to. Right. And because they're not used to it, it kind of scares them. So they go up and out of their bodies a little bit. So, and now again, all their energy is from the heart up. And it's like, oh, it's like I'm a little bit nervous. No, drop that. I know it's counterintuitive, especially when you have been swimming in the soup of that high frequency for quite, since your birth. But counterintuitive, use it anyway. Drive that energy down into the body instead of up and away from it. Yeah, because all the good juice is happening here, people. It's all, I as much as it's chaotic and crazy, I mean, this is the place to be right now. So yeah, in the body, yeah, too. Okay.
Liz is saying this is a friend with vertigo, not her.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Either way, it's the same. Same dynamic, right? It's like, so again, if your friend is opening to bigger aspects of herself, if more energy is starting to flow in, like it is for so many on the planet right now, she may not be used to that. and quite honestly, even when you are used to it, the sheer volume of information and energy that's flooding through us right now, I mean, it sets me back on a, fairly regular basis right now, so it's, yeah, so even when you are aware of it, it it doesn't negate the fact that that energy still has to be moved into those lower parts of the body. So,
Okay, next question from Jane. I still have a lot of digestive discomfort. I'm trying to process what my inner child is saying, the things that are coming up, but I'm just surprised digestive issues have lasted this long. What is the most efficient way to facilitate the process of integration?
um, one of the things with, let's consider this, we've spent our whole lifetimes being imprinted with different kinds of information. Most of the way we express ourselves in the world is really based on somebody else's uh, information or energy, right? It's a deep, deep unwinding, um, where we return to what we actually are. Yep. And so there's a lot of, I guess I'm saying that because there's a lot of information to digest, and it's very easy to get pretty impatient, especially when, well, how long is this going to take, and when will this be over, and it's really not a matter of it being over. It's a matter of how is it that we address this part of us. So I just want to speak specifically to this. So say as a child, you had people around you who they were patient with you to an extent. Yep, they were patient with you to an extent, but then all of a sudden you overran that extent, something that was going on, kind of, and then all of a sudden there's no patience anymore, right? And this is, I mean, this is not evil parents or anything like this. I mean, every parent hits this point. So, but what I want to say in your case is that the very practice of meeting this part of yourself with patience, the very the very the very act um, of talking to this part of yourself and saying, I don't know if I have it yet. I don't know if I've met you the way you need to be met. The very piece of just, I know I'm not really patient right now. I know I'm not feeling patient right now. I'm saying this to myself as much as I'm saying it to you, because I'm in the same place. I'm running out of patience with my head stuff. So, right. So we're just giving that. Yeah, there she is. So it's like, yeah, I understand. You're needing me to be more patient. There's a lot of information to digest. There's a lot of information, and it's not because you're bad or because you're wrong or because you haven't figured it out yet or anything like that. It's just the acknowledgement that there is an awful lot to digest right now, not just within our own personal lives, but collectively. I mean, every single day something's popping up that is just another, another thing that we would, rather not have to digest, right? So it's not just you um, having that experience. So yeah, if we were going to talk to anybody else out in front of us, especially a little person that was having trouble with their digestion, it's that with their power, with their any of that, we might even like just comfort them. We might just be, hands on the belly. I'm just gonna be here with you now. Yep. Yep. Instead of trying to make it move forward, nope, I'm just gonna step back. And for whatever reason, I see it very much for you as it's almost like you're trying to give birth to a part of yourself. And the digestive pieces are the parts that you're just kind of unwinding in that birth process. It's like all the toxicity that leaves a mother during her pregnancy. It's like she's got life in her. She's going to give birth, right? And so anything that's not a match for what she's getting ready to give birth to usually comes up comes up and out as morning sickness, or it tries to move out, through sleep and exhaustion and things like that. Whatever is going on right now, it just feels like you're in prep mode for birth, and we can't rush birth. As much as we'd like to say this is the time, it doesn't usually work that way. So, yeah, I hope that's helpful. Last thing, then, let me end on this, because again, we're moving into this time period, this 14th to the 21st. For anybody who's as energetically sensitive as I know we all are, we're feeling the energy of the 21st and a shift and a pivot that's really able to happen. We're feeling that long before. We're feeling it a week ahead, right, of that energy. So again, instead of paying attention to where we're going next, where we're going next because of this shift in energy or this, let's just be as present within ourselves for that shift as possible, right? So instead of like moving out to the future, like when we were doing that, the band of energy, I was noticing a lot of people are like, they're almost arced forward. It's like, well, get me out of these moments right now. Arc me, put me into the future where everything feels a little bit better. But again, we're not creating from the future. We're creating from right here, right now. That's where all of our power is. So as you notice yourself being a little bit into the future, and or even into what's going to happen, at the end of December, what will 2021 look like? We all want to know for sure. We all want to know that our creations are starting to be made manifest. So, but again, let's bring ourselves right back into that heart space. And for right now, let's breathe into the heart space and let's exhale down into the earth, just like we started this call. That energy flow, let's say, will do more to kind of create the next steps or the next world that you want to live in than just about anything else. Yep. It's like fully being here now as what you actually are is so flipping powerful. And that energy is moving down through your body, whether you like it or not anyway. It's just time. It's just time for us to show up and embody on this planet like we've never been able to embody before. And so when these things are going off, then the direction is down and in. Yep. Yeah. Cool. And it always kind of helps to get out, bare feet on the grass, go hug a tree somewhere or something, just to really anchor you into what's here right now. We have no idea the power of that. Yeah, so, all right. I think that's it then for today. Thank you guys so much for showing up. I totally appreciate it. Oh, lots of love to everybody. Bye for now.